I feel,
because as you know, children we do gravitate to media,
right?
And
that's true.
Entertainment and things like that. So it's like we kind of take on what we see, and I feel like it's definitely played a role in where we end up now.
I feel for my generation, it has been some of the young ladies who have allowed it to occur. That's what made it constantly occur. You see what I'm saying? Like these songs that degrade them, they allow it to happen. Because I recall in the 90s, in our late 80s, black women were strong. They were kind of like powerful in my eyes. Like,
and not to say that we didn't have these small spouts of women being objectified, but I feel like now it's definitely put on way more of a pedestal. But I asked that simply to say because the person that we're interviewing coming up, Ebony Archer, she makes it she makes it a habit to use entertainment, media, and film and television, like things that youth gravitate towards. She uses that as her platform to give the youth a voice to kind of stand up and speak out. And we're going to be speaking to her in a few minutes. But right now, we're actually going to go to a station ID, and we'll be right back after this.
What's up, Chicago? This is your girl, Beatrice Bonner, aka BB. I attend Lindblom Math and Science Academy. You are listening to Teen Talk Radio Theater, WHPK 88.5 FM Chicago, the pride of the South Side. Brought to you by Productions to Change Lives, P2CL. Get comfortable and get ready to hear an awesome show. Now back to your host.
All right, we are back, and we are coming upon the time where we have an interview. But before we go any further, I have some facts, interesting and cool facts about some African American women. For one, I have Miss Shirley Chisholm. She was the first black woman elected to Congress and the first black major party presidential candidate. Survived 3 assassination attempts during her 1972 campaign.
Wow. I don't even think I ever heard about the assassination attempts. I definitely was familiar with her from school, but I don't know about the assassination attempts.
No, it's not saying that they tried to assassinate her, but it's saying that during her campaign, her candidate survived. Three assassination attempts.
Well, here I have journalist Ida B. Wells. She refused to give up her rail car seat for a white man in 1884. She bit a conductor on the hand when he tried to force her out of her seat, and she was dragged off the train. She initially sued the railroad company and won, but the decision was later overturned. That stood out to me simply because, we always forget about the people who came before the mainstream. We hear about the Rosa Parks and the Martin Luther King, but Rosa Parks was not the first person to sit on a bus and refuse her seat. So we definitely want to recognize Ida B. Wells Barnett. But right now we do have our interviewer on the phone. So right now we're going to go to her, and Miss Archer, you're on the air.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good. Well, we have here that Miss.
Wait, before we go any further, who are you? First off.
Well, my name is Ebony Archer. I am the founder of the Stop the Violence campaign and also the executive producer of You Speak Out TV show here in Chicago. And also the CEO of IBP Entertainment.
Okay. It's nice to meet you. I'm Devontae Levy, BK8, host of Teen Talk Radio Theater. I'm here with my co-host,
Mark Walker, and we definitely are glad to have you in with us today for this interview that we have been looking forward to. So we want to start off by, tell us a little bit about yourself, before you started Youth Speak and the Stop the Violence campaign, just to kind of get an idea of who you are as a person.
Well, first, I am a recording artist. I started singing at the age of 4. When I was 7 years old, I joined a renowned gospel group called Walt Women in Soldier in Chicago.
I read that. Yeah, I read that.
Yes, and I was with them for 8 or 9 years. And while I was with them, I kind of learned the back end of the music industry and what it really takes to really be in the industry. A lot of people don't know how hard work and dedication it is to be, that star you see on TV. So it kind of taught me the ins and outs of the entertainment industry as a whole. When I was 18 years old, I decided to go into the industry myself, but instead of just wanting someone to give me a recording contract, I decided to really go in and own my own my own company, trying to do my own thing, trying to put out more positive music aside from today. And that's when I decided to start Inspired by Purpose Entertainment. And basically, I use entertainment to promote positive music, but also spread the message of inspiration. And then I went into more studying into media and public relations. I felt like if I could take over the media, I could promote more positive entertainment and things, especially towards our youth, because of such negative messages that are going out today. But I really want to step in and just promote positive things.
Agreed. Now, Ms. Archer, you speak of the media and your experience and, wanting to get into it. And before we started the interview, we had just spoke on the evolution of media over the decades and, how it kind of seems that there has been a downward spiral, so to speak, on the objectification of not only women but just as a unit, blacks or people as a unit. Do you feel that youth are able to differentiate between what's shock value or what sells and the work ethic that goes behind it, or do you feel like those lines are kind of like blended together to the point where we really can't tell the difference now?
Well, I think, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to really go into it. Of course, if you look back maybe in the 1960s to now, that's a big transformation. I mean, just how, like, the role of the family, how it's projected on TV now. Back then, it used to be where now you get married, then you had kids, and then you keep growing. But now it's just, the babies out where a lot don't have to be married, or this woman that's the image of woman, how it's evolved, and how, like, women don't have respect for themselves and things like that because it's, on the TV. But what I realized is that, it takes people, I think, to take a stand and to be bold enough to say, hey, we need to make a change. It needs to be done. And if we really have more people like that, then yeah, it can be a difference. It don't have to be so blended together. It can be a change. But I just really think there has to be more people that want to see that change in the media, in our communities, and vice versa. So I really just think that it definitely, it could change, but it takes people to want to have that change. Especially in the industry, you definitely, it's kind of hard, to really stand out on your own because it's this whole standard of society that you got to meet. So in order to really get change, you have to be bold enough to make change, and a lot of people don't want to do that.
Understood. I agree with that. Now, moving along to, I understand you have the Stop the Violence organization, and you also have the Youth Speak Out organization, and from my understanding, they ultimately the two kind of tie together to give youth and young adults a platform to express themselves about the grievances and everything that goes on throughout their everyday lives. So I went to the StopTheViolence.campaign.com website, and I watched the YouTube video that you had put up, and I noticed one of the things you said was you felt compelled by, like, different news stories and things that you see every day going on in the city to kind of be a voice and try to help the youth. So aside from the saying the things on the news, what was that, I guess you can say that, did you have a definitive moment where you, whether it be personal or not, what was that defining moment that kind of made you want to jump into that and say, okay, you know what, enough is enough, I want to be that person to help out?
Well, 2 years ago, my friend, my childhood friend, she came back from the summer, back from college. Mm-hmm. And what made it so hurtful for me is that the week before we was talking, catching up, I just got talking with her on the phone, and we was talking about the plans for the future. But the week after I talked to her, I got the phone call that morning. That morning, she lived in Harvey, Illinois, and she was going outside to get the mail from her mailbox. All of a sudden, it was like a drive-by shooting, guns and bullets that started flying, and then she happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the bullet came from the back of her head to the front and died instantly. And that was really the moment where I said I had to go and do something, because it's so many youth dying, but it's not the youth that's involved with it. It's the innocent.
Yes.
And just for her, she had a future. She wanted to go into TV and media, and she had a bright future, but her future was taken away because of the hands of violence. And it's not just her. I lost many loved ones and friends due to violence. And so this movement is kind of personal to me, not just because of what I went through personally, but what I see every day. And I know that something has to be done. And we don't want too many futures or no more young people dying innocently because we're not standing up to make a change. So that was definitely the defiant moment for me to go stand up and do something about it.
On a lighter note, I read somewhere, this is Tate by the way, on a lighter note, I read somewhere that you happened to be on stage. Well, you touched the stage with Yolanda Adams, R. Kelly, Celine Dion, and many more. So what was that like?
That was amazing. I mean, and when you at that moment, you can't believe it. And even when we was backstage with them, they really gave us advice and really how it is. And I think I just appreciate that coming from somebody or people who's been successful and been in the industry over 20 years. That is something that you really appreciate and you can't forget. And so it's just an awesome experience, just meeting somebody in the position where you want to be, and they just give you advice to help you be successful. Like, I just take that. Yolanda Adams told me that whatever God has for you, you keep going. But she said determination leads you to your destination. And from there on, I just take that because that's so true. You got to be determined in order to reach the destiny that God has for you. So it was just an amazing experience, and those tokens that I was given during that time, I definitely keep. So it's very awesome.
Yeah, I know. R. Kelly, that's one of the biggest. That's the king of R&B. That's how I'm saying. That's the king of R&B. That's one of my favorite stars, and I swear to you, I would have been starstruck. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I was typing up on YouTube. I typed your name in, and I gazed upon something. You sung the national anthem. I don't know where, but it was you singing the national anthem. I think that's you.
Yeah.
That sounded so lovely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
If it's not too much to ask, would you mind singing to us on the air?
Okay, hold on. Let me clear my voice. Jesus loves me, this I know. The Bible says the same. Little ones who are healed, they are He's strong. Yes, He does. Let me yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible says He's so.
I don't know how many times we've done this on TTRT, how many interviews we had where people have called in, but if we have done this before, I believe that was the best one.
I was about to say this might be the first. That was beautiful, so beautiful.
Thank you.
I have one more question I want to ask because we are nearing close towards the end of the interview here. But we just to backtrack, to the violence and the Youth Speaks Out campaign. A lot of times we often hear about solutions, but we don't really necessarily take the steps to ensure that those solutions work. And we've even heard President Obama say time and time again, we can't save every single child, we can't stop every senseless act of violence, but we definitely can have a voice and move forward to progressing towards those solutions. And I read on the youthspeaksout.net that you use 4 principles to educate, empower, elevate, and to execute. And you use the platforms of entertainment, media, music, and film, television to kind of help make a positive impact. So where do I'm trying to see, like, where do you I'm trying to get the words out, I'm sorry. how has this platform proven effective? That's the question I'm trying to get at. Has it been effective? Because, like, as we said, we can't stop every senseless act of violence. So how can you ensure that it is being effective, or what any words of encouragement that you have to those families who possibly have lost someone or know someone who has been lost to violence, and they kind of feel like people have kind of pushed them to the gray area and aren't really paying attention to them? You get what I'm saying?
Right. But you know what? You Speak Out, I started it because, back then when I was growing up, the time I was going through, I really didn't have no outlet to express myself. And when you're going through so much, especially going through the act of violence or losing somebody, and nobody gives you that outlet or avenue to speak out, you hold that within. You got so much anger, you got so much, hurt inside you that results. It will make you do things. And a lot of times kids or young adults result and take that anger and react violently. So I realized that first it starts with you. I said, in order to reach the youth and say to you, you have to reach the youth. And that's where I provide that. And I do provide, it is being effective, because a lot of youth, they just want something, they want to be seen, they just want to be heard. They just want that outlet, but so many people are ignoring them, don't care what they have to say, and not providing a platform for them. But just me, just being around like my peers and just even the generations behind me, I realized that that's what they want. They want to speak out. They want to be heard. And once you give that person someone that has all that inside of them and allow them to speak out, it makes them feel much better, because now somebody's listening to them. Now they're not getting shut down, but now they're getting an opportunity to be heard.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but right now we're going to go to the station ID. We want you to hold on. We're going to be right back after this.
What's up, everybody? This is Raymond Eccles, aka DJ Ray, attending Kenwood Academy High School. You're now tuned in to Chicago's very own Teen Talk Radio Theater at WHBK 88.5 FM Chicago, the pride of the Southside. Brought to you by P2CL Productions 2 Chainz Lives. So kick back and enjoy the show. Now back to your host.
All right, back to our interview. And I have a question. All right, so on Channel 19, what goes on exactly? Like, what happens there?
Channel 19 is on Comcast Channel 19 every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. We do premiere the You Speak Out TV show. Basically, what You Speak Out is basically provide an outlet for the youth to speak out against different issues or things they are facing today. We also promote young adults and youth between the ages of 13 and 25 and doing something positive in the community, especially among our African American children, because we see on the news it's always something negative, somebody shooting somebody doing this. We do want to give hope to the youth that there are some youth in our community that doing something positive. And so every Tuesday night at 7:30, you can catch that on Comcast Channel 19. Just on youth and young adults are doing something positive in the community.
So, as a young adult like myself, I feel I'm doing something positive. So how could a young adult like myself become a part of something like such?
If you want to become a part of it, you could go to our website on www.youspeakout.net and go to the contact page and contact us there, or you can email us directly showing your interest at info@youspeakout.net.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ms. Archer, this is Mark Walker here again. I just want to ask you, is there any closing comments that you want to leave with, the listening audience, anything that you just want to make it a key to, like, the overall message of today?
The message of today, I just say, just keep going, don't stop, and just be determined. No matter what you're going through, even the violence is going on, there is a brighter day coming, and you just got to stay focused on the positive and not the negative. So if I could just leave just a short note, just keep going, don't stop.
All right, well, there you all have it, and we want to thank you, Miss Archer, for calling in today, and we want you to keep listening, and definitely, tell your friends and family, and, even one day, maybe we can, join up, me and Tay both as young African-American men, can definitely reach out and be a part of Youth Speaks Out as well as Stop the Violence campaign.
Okay, I definitely appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, but right now, let us go to a PSA. We'll be right back after this.
Are you or someone you know being bullied on Facebook or Twitter? 1 in every 3 teens have or will be bullied by someone online.
Archer, who we should keep on the lookout. Definitely, like, just coming up in our own community, and it's fine to do things on a national platform and, you know, try to reach out and touch all across the spectrum, but it's those people who you have in your own neighborhood, your own community, who are aware of the everyday grievances and challenges that we face here in Chicago, who they definitely help to, you know, bring light to the situation. Almost as if you have somebody on your level who's from the same place, understands, who's able to be very sympathetic to the situation.
Yes. I agree. And I wanted to be a part of it, and I'm sure if you want to, I want to be a part of it, so I asked for some information. So if you want to be a part of it too, you can go to youthspeakout.net, or you can go to stoptheviolencecampaign.com. That's youthspeakout.net, or I'm not going to spell out Stop the Violence. So you can just type it in and you'll find it.
Definitely. And